Hey there, welcome back to another video. In this video, you're going to get a daily spiritual card reading. It is an oracle card reading that I pick for you in this moment. Now look, if you're watching this video, this message is for you. Think about all the people there are in the world, 7 billion, but there's only a handful in comparison that are watching the video. So you're getting this message at the right time. It's got information for your highest good that is going to help you along your spiritual journey, spiritual tips for your spiritual trip. Oh yeah, because we are spiritual beings having human experiences, and we want to be open to whatever information comes our way. We want to find a way to use it, to talk about it, and use it into our day-to-day life. Now look, what are we seeing here in this card? The first thing we're seeing is you all dressed in green, and the card is green, and the house is green. What is that green? Well, it's the green heart chakra. Now, heart chakra is a word to describe part of our spiritual body, okay? When we're talking about our physical body, we talk about our ears, our thumb, our fingers, or whatever, but when we're talking about the spiritual body, it doesn't have any physical form. So we have to talk about it in colors of this energy. And the energy color that we're talking about is the heart chakra green. Now this, in general, is representing wellness, representing vitality, representing, oh yeah, I'm owning my environment. I'm really owning it, owning who I am. The heart chakra, as you can see her here, is a sense of maturity, a sense of really coming into your own authentic identity as a spiritual being and as a human being out in the world. Now, it does look like sometimes when we are authentic around other people, they can look at us like we're crazy. They can look at us like, what did she just say? What did he just say? What did they just say? They can look like they're skeptical, look like they're not sure. But here we are with, here you are with your paint and your paintbrush in your hand. Why? Because as a spiritual being, we know we are painting our personal life into existence. We are doing that painting with our words, with our communication to other people. The things we talk about with others, the things we talk about with ourselves, the things we write about, the things we comment on, like if you comment on this video, the ideas that you express in writing or in language in general are the ones that are going out into the world, and then they're creative and they're coming back to you as little nuances of personal experiences. This is the gossip card, Now, doesn't mean people are gossiping about you. You don't always have to look at things literally. No. We are the ones who make the meaning out of our life's events and our life's data, our life's situations. Now, the gossip part here is when you are talking about the things that you prefer in life, those words go out, and they start to gossip. They start to talk with the world around you. They start to be like little helpers out in the world to create experiences that are then set up for you to walk right into. So this is what it's like to live as a green spiritual heart chakra, a spiritual being having a human experience. Your terrain is all dressed up in this beautiful, powerful, creative role of life. Now, what we see here, this woman here is dressed in blue. This blue color, this light blue and the dark blue. The light blue is the communication throat chakra. So she is talking, our spiritual self is talking to the part of us that uses words, that expresses out into the world, and also the part of us that is the indigo, that's the third eye chakra, the part of us that is within. So this is our heart working with our words that go out of us and our internal dialogue, our inspiration, the new ideas, the new hopes and little thises and that's that we come across inside of our minds. Our little revelations, our epiphanies. That's what she represents. We don't want her to stay skeptical. No, we want to boldly say the things to the world in the way that we can. that you can. You are an authentic painter, an authentic artist. With art, there are no real rules. Sure, there's some general guidelines of composition and structure and form and color. But think about it. In the world, artwork is very, very wide open, like imagination, and you are allowed to make your own rules in art. So you want to make sure you let go of some of the logic of communication and the logic of your inspiration. So if you get an inspired idea, you don't want to say, oh, well, that's not possible. No, no, no. That part of us is going to get more and more open-minded, more and more willing to be our helper. As a spiritual being, we want our voice, both inner and outer voice, to be our helper, our inspiration and our intuition and our expression of words to be our helpers. They work for us as a spiritual being. You're going to use that part of yourself to create meaning in the world around you. Now, what's this part of ourself here? This part looks like she's being neglected a little bit. She's the one who's getting the attention. Well, the brown and the faded here, what is this? All this is our past. She represents our past. Why? First of all, the brown is really the red root chakra of yesterday. This is a faded red. Brown is a faded red. It is a past, a dust. It is what we are leaving in our dust. See, we are living just a little bit ahead of ourselves, and we are creating a space for our future to come to pass by the words that we press out into the world, by the actions we then take, because what we're talking about becomes our emotional movement and we end up embodying. Then the events that do occur, they become part of our past. We're always living just a little ahead of ourselves. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. We are like spearheads of God's ever-advancing creation in the world. That's a quote from a book in Alcoholics Anonymous, actually. We are at the forefront, pushing the envelope of newness in our personal life. There's never been another conscious being that's living inside of your personal life ever before. You're one of a kind. You're the only one. You're the only bit of consciousness, of spiritual consciousness, that is alive inside of your personal life. Inside of Brian, there is a little spark of God consciousness, awareness, consciousness, and inner presence, an observer. The same thing that's inside of Brian is inside of you. The difference is yours is connected to all your little experiences, all the little emotions that you've ever had, all the little details, the data that you've collected throughout the years, your actions, your words, your thises and that's. And I have my own set of data. Brian, we might call that database our ego, our personality in the world. Remember this, our ego has no power over us. Our ego can't get us. I made a video about that. Our ego is not really alive. It is just a set of data that is surrounding our conscious spiritual identity. You know that this is true. You can feel it when you close your eyes and you look around inside there. What is that thing that you are, that conscious, intelligent presence that's been with you since you were a little child? That's the living part of us. That's the eternal part of us. That's the spiritual part of us. That is what eternal life is really like. We want to be able to claim this. We want to convince our mortal self that it is real, that it is real. Israel. Think about this from the Bible, Israel. Think about Emmanuel, God with man, God inside of you. This is a beautiful experience. Now, if you don't like the word God, right? If your self is a little offended by the word God because of logic or resentment or religious upbringing or whatever, you don't have to use that word. Just use source or universe, God. Just know that it's one power. There is not two. There's not two powers fighting each other. If you're not clear on that, watch some of my other videos that talk about duality, that talk about one power, not two, that talk about variety of expression instead of two warring powers. that talk about one power of white light that is expressing like through a prism of a rainbow of different colors, vibrating at different frequencies. So really, there's not two powers, there's just a variety of things going on in the world. Now, the more you're able to live as your spiritual being, as your spiritual self, and convince your mortal self that everything's going to be okay, because you are an eternal being, eternally, living inside of a person called you. You're adding to the database of our story, our collective story, his story, the source's story, the God story, history. You are a unique facet of the one bright big diamond of God, of source, of universe, of light that is shining in the world. You're like no other, and there will never be another like you. Everything you do is wonderful, Now that you know who you are, once you know that you are this spiritually awake thing, or really once you recognize your awareness, your consciousness as the real you, then that's what it means to be awake spiritually, to be spiritually awake. Now, all the experiences you're having can be seen from a little bit of a distance, from a little bit of that green heart chakra house that we really live in. We can come out and we can meet with ourself, we can meet with the world out here in the field of our dreams coming true, because we are modeling them up here in our mind, in our imagination space, in our conscious space, first with our logic, with our words, with our structuring words, our language. We're doing that first, then we're letting it go, and we're letting it become part of our past, Now again, what I was going to get to with this here, with the root chakra red turning brown and turning pale, is let your past go. Don't let your past dictate what your present self believes. Just because something happened a certain way yesterday does not mean that it's got to follow that way today. It can change, just like imagination, on a dime. Oh yeah, funny that I should say that. I usually find dimes on the ground, tails up. And when I do, I first started to see those and I was like, wow, a dime. Money and I are friends. But then I started to find more and more of them with tails up. And I thought that coincidence meant something. And I decided, oh my gosh, dimes tails up mean that God is with me. God, source, universe has my back. And then I started finding them more and more, always at times when I needed a little boost, I needed a little friend, I needed a little help, I needed a little reminder that I am is living inside me. Is living inside me, as Brian, in my personal life. And in the same way, everything can change for you any time of the day, moment. It's just that simple. In imagination, everything is possible. And it can all shift, so you don't have to always be conformed to what you knew. That's why we didn't define the word as gossip, like people talking about us. That's old stuff. We're on the new stuff now. So that's the reading. It is the gossip card, right? But really, what is it? It is go and do what? Go and sip. Go sip on the eternal presence that lives inside of you. Go and sip a little bit of that spiritual intuition, the revelations that are coming into your own mind. Go and sip on that sweet, sweet blossom of new experience that is happening through you and being put into the world of your personal life. Yeah, boom. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Share this video on your groups. Share it on your Facebook page. Help other people know about these messages. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Create a YouTube account, subscribe to the channel, select the bell saying that you want to be notified each time a new video comes out. I'm publishing daily spiritual card readings here to help you along your spiritual path. Oh yeah, thank you so much for being here. Leave me a comment as to how this reading hit you. Let me know what stood out as important. If you write about these concepts and practices with your language, they will expand in your personal life for you. Oh yeah, so goody good. Thank you so much.